Hello and welcome to this very special kind of impromptu, improvised edition of Pocket Pedagogy. We're calling it Pocket Pedagogy Special. We're going to do some episodes every so often that are not necessarily as strictly scripted or as directly planned out, and this is one of them. I thought because our first episode was about Donkey Kong 1994, I mentioned obliquely that there's a sequel to that game called Mario vs. Donkey Kong that was just remade for the Nintendo Switch. That just came out today. I got my hands on it. I'm going to go ahead and do a sort of, we're going to play through the first half hour or so of this and just give you a feel for what this game looks like, talk a little bit about kind of the history of this franchise, where it goes, some of the differences in this version of the game, and maybe just some other kind of like little bits and bobs. So I'm going to start like literally right from the beginning here. We're going to start a new file, and what's interesting about this game is that you have two options here. You can either play casual mode, which kind of gives you a bubble so you can take extra hits. There's apparently unlimited time, or you can kind of go back and play the classic mode. The classic mode is really more the traditional Mario vs. Donkey Kong experience. It's more like if you were playing Donkey Kong 94, this is the closer version. So we're going to go ahead and go with classic, but I'm glad they put casual in here because I think one of the things that Nintendo has done really, really well in recent years is they've tried to find ways to really kind of expand the user base for their games in some meaningful ways, and one of the ways they do that is by giving more options to make the games more accessible to more people. So cool that they put this in. Apparently there's also a two-player mode. We are just going to play single player, but you can play as Toad in that one. I guess Toad's a little bit faster and he can kind of run around quicker, but not too materially different. Again, this is a puzzle platformer, not like a traditional platform like a Mario 2. So anyway, the plot is pretty simple. Mario has a toy company. They're making little tiny mini Mario figurines that wind up. They're cute. Donkey Kong is obsessed with them. He wants to steal them. It's thin. It is a thin plot. It kind of doesn't really matter, but it is cute. It's a thin justification to get the story moving. And it's exactly like the Game Boy Advance version of this is basically just sort of like still cutscenes that are sort of stitched together. This, they actually went and did the whole CGI animation. And that's one thing that really stands out about this game so far is that it looks substantially better than the Game Boy Advance one did. So the Game Boy Advance kind of came out at the sort of in the early 2000s, and they were still kind of riding the high of pre-rendered sprites from Donkey Kong Country and that sort of thing. So you had a lot of games that were out on the Game Boy Advance that used pre-rendered graphics instead of the traditional pixel art to really, frankly, diminishing effect. This game was definitely one of them. I am not a massive fan of how the Mario vs. Donkey Kong game on GBA looks. Quite frankly, I just don't think it's a very good-looking game. And this is a definite improvement on that front because I think the characters actually kind of pop in. Obviously you're playing the original GBA game on a much smaller screen. When you blow it up, it looks really bad. But even on the smaller screen, I just really preferred the sort of cleaner pixel art of the original DK94. But yeah, so Mario vs. Donkey Kong is basically that game. You have a lot of the same moves. I mean, you can do that cool backflip, and you can do the handstand and that kind of thing, which is nice. And you got the little bonus jump out of there. So he's pretty mobile. It still has that very sort of purposeful movement. It's not quite as smooth as a normal Mario game. You're kind of more moving a little bit forward at a time, but it definitely feels a little bit more clean and smooth than the DK94, which and certainly the original version of this game. So can't really fault that. Yeah. Okay, so anyway, you're trying to get 3 presents in each level and collect the mini Mario at the end. That becomes important later. So I just obviously cleared that level perfect. Now, a cool thing they added apparently to this game is that when you finish the first level of a world, you can now go play the other ones in any order you want. I'm going to go ahead and just play them in the traditional order. So we're going into World 1-2 now. This game was developed by the Nintendo Software Technology Corporation, the same division of Nintendo that did the original, which is kind of surprising me because I thought something like this, it's a late system lifespan game. It's a remake of an older game. I would have thought for sure this would have been something like a Tosei or an RZS production, but nope, this is actually Nintendo making this game. And I don't know if, how much of the original team worked on this offhand. It seems like a lot of the upper level and management, that sort of thing, was different. Shigeru Miyamoto, for instance, is not involved with this, even as a producer. He was a producer on the original game and on Donkey Kong 94. That's all really kind of immaterial to the actual enjoyment of the game. And so this is actually kind of the trick of doing this live or semi-live, live to tape, is that I'm making mistakes I probably wouldn't have made if I was just playing this in a normal playthrough. But I am trying to kind of narrate and make this sort of interesting. And if you're someone who really didn't want to hear someone talk over this game and just wanted to watch footage of it, I do apologize, but there are a lot of playthroughs of this, I'm sure, out there that don't have the talk through. So I wanted to do this because we did Donkey Kong 94 for the first episode of Pocket Pedagogy. And I was definitely curious about this game because, again, I felt like Mario vs. Donkey Kong on the Game Boy Advance was a very potentially good game, but it was just sort of held back by the design choices they made at the time. This definitely feels like a kind of better version of that game, to the point where I'd say if you want to play this game, just go ahead and get this new one that just came out. Now, this is I think it's $50. It's $50. And what's interesting is that this is actually considered now a budget game. This was not the case for you younger folks out there. Budget games were like, I remember getting like King of Fighters in 98 or something like that on the PlayStation for $10. That was a budget game, like back in the day. Budget games are now, it's like, oh, it's 50 instead of 70 or 40 instead of 60. So, again, game development is, not cheap. And quite frankly, for inflation and all that, these prices are fairly reasonable. But, that doesn't really make too much difference to the consumer end of the day, especially when, you might not necessarily have as much disposable income as you did before. That extra $10, we went from 60 to 70, might start to kind of add up after a while and be a little bit less enticing. So here we do see the puzzle platform. There's usually kind of, especially in the early stages of these games, a pretty prescribed sort of path. And you can kind of tell that this is clearly what was going to go on here. They wanted me to kind of go up and around, get over here, pick up the key, and I had to hit those switches in order to make the trash cans drop, and so I could jump across them and use them as a platform to get to the door. So, again, you're not, like, this is really early on. We're gonna try to play through the first half hour or so of this game. And I'm going to try to get to as much of it as I can. So, but realistically, we're probably going to only be seeing the sort of opening level or so of the game. This is not as complex as this game is going to get. So if you're looking at this like, this seems really simplistic, trust me, this will get harder. And frankly, I never really got that far in the original Mario vs. Donkey Kong. So I'm pretty excited to see what all is at the end here. So we're going to do a little handstand up here. Pick up the Mario, and there we go. They added a couple new levels to this. This is, the original game had 6 worlds. This one now has 8, which is good. I understand there's also kind of a post-game mode where things are a little bit, you can kind of go back and play some more stuff. Through like a little more challenge, and there's like more bonus stages and things like that. So overall, like honestly, for $50, this is it's pretty solid. I'd say I'm kind of playing it for the first time as I'm talking to you, but I did play the demo they put out. So there is a demo if you want to check out the demo. So if you want to know if this game is for you, you can just fire up your Switch and play the demo for free. It's only like 3 levels, but it gives you a pretty good taste for what to expect here. So now here we add some conveyor belts. So another thing this series has done, as I mentioned in the Mario or the DK94 video, is that it's really good about kind of slowly parceling out new ideas and challenges and mechanics. So here we're adding some conveyor belts, and again, every challenge in the game kind of like builds on what has come before. So obviously I can't quite get through there with the key, so I'm going to duck under there, pick up the key, and there you go. Again, I'm trying to get everything. This is not hard in the first few levels usually to get all of the presents and to get the mini Marios. But here's the thing I didn't really talk about a lot in the video for Donkey Kong 94. Mario does have the ability to kind of do this sort of gymnastics pull routine on power lines, and they sometimes do have sparks that go across them, so that's another stage hazard. But it's another thing where it's kind of cool because it does give you some flexibility and some ability to really get verticality in a way that you can't with a normal jump. And in some cases, it is really necessary to use these. So obviously, you have to kind of time things out appropriately. I'm going to skip the extra life because I think I'm doing okay so far. So the longer you hold it down, the more he spins, the more momentum he gets, the higher he goes. You can kind of just do it, let go earlier to get a smaller jump, which is sometimes better. I'm going to try to, there we go. And boom, got him. So, yeah, these are neat games, and I really, so there's one thing that kind of came to mind is I was wondering, like, why remake Mario versus Donkey Kong when Donkey Kong 94 was already there? And somebody pointed out to me, it's like, well, DK94 didn't really need the help, and I think that's true. Like, Mario versus Donkey Kong kind of did need the help. So, okay, this is new. I don't know what this is. I'm guessing this is a bonus stage. We're going to fire this up. This is new to me, so I don't know what to expect. And, all right, so we're going to treasure chest. Okay, it looks like I've got to get the key to the treasure chest, if I had to guess. I have to chase after the key. Oh, that's fun. Okay, so I'm going to get some one-ups here on the way, but I am timed, so I don't want to take too much time to get the key. But I do want that, and so hopefully I can get the key here. Come here, you little devil. Right, did I get it? Oh, I got it. Okay, so it's following me. I'm going to take it to the... There we go. Unlock the box, and let's see what I get. More extra lives. Hooray. Now, this and DK94 are pretty generous with extra lives, and that's helpful because you want to build those up early on because it gets a lot harder as it goes on. So let's go on to 1.5 now. Hope everybody's doing okay, having a good day out there. I was going to do this live. I was going to do an actual stream, but I'm not quite set up to do that at the moment. Basically, it's a Wi-Fi issue, and I also don't have a free webcam at the moment. So I am just going to kind of do this to tape, and if you like it and want to see more of that, I'll try to do some live streaming stuff in the future. That's something I alluded to in the very first Pocket Pedagogy video. So I do want to do some more of that. There's some games where it's just like, you know what? Maybe this doesn't necessarily merit a whole regular Pocket Pedagogy, but it might be interesting to kind of talk about this particular game. Like I have like a Tom and Jerry game where it's like, I don't want to do a whole episode on this, but it might be kind of fun to see what people did with the Tom and Jerry games, because it's never what you think they would do, right? You think it's like, oh, it's Tom and Jerry. Cat chases the mouse. We'd have some kind of thing where you're like Jerry trying to run away from Tom, or you're Tom trying to catch Jerry. It's never that. It's never that. It's never the most obvious thing you could do with that franchise. Game Boy Advance development in particular is weird. There's a bunch of stuff where it's just like, hey, GBA development and dev kits are cheap. We have this license that we got cheap. Just turn it into something. And so and again, I don't think I'm going to do this one either because I just don't think it's a good enough game and I don't really enjoy playing it. But there's one called Tom and Jerry, The Infernal Escape. And it literally starts off with Tom the cat dying and going to hell. And then you have to try to get out of hell by like collecting something. It's not a good game, but I kind of appreciate just how weird that concept is. This has nothing to do with Mario and Donkey Kong. See, this is what you get when you do stream of consciousness. And again, I have no script. I've got some notes. I've definitely got some notes that I'm looking at to kind of like give me some like background and information about this game. Okay, so this is kind of a nice thing. So if you're not quite clear how to do something, you can find these little diagrams. And so what it wants me to do is to do the handstand double jump, which I know how to do from DK94. Boom, there we go. I might have been able to backflip. I'm going to try it. This is probably going to frustrate somebody who wanted to there. Yeah, I can backflip up there too. So again, there are usually a couple different ways to get through problems, but there's a prescribed path early on while they're trying to get you used to the mechanics that they want you to follow. So as you can see, colored switches are kind of a big deal in this game. When you hit one, it makes the other gates go away and that kind of thing. So you want to kind of be strategic and careful. So here's the thing. Again, remember you can kind of kick bricks out of the way with the handstand, so that's the safest. Now, obviously you don't want to try to do that carrying the key. You're going to open yourself up to get hit by the bricks. So we're going to kind of just go around it. And I need to go over here and see if, there we go. And both switches are up. And off we go. So again, this is, these are the simple ones. This will get harder. I have not gotten as far into Mario versus Donkey Kong. I beat the original DK94 a couple times, but I've never finished the original Mario vs. Donkey Kong. So this is still kind of new to me. Like, I definitely played this far into the game, oh, shoot, okay. So another thing that's kind of cool is I almost got taken out. The enemies in this are also all toys. Like, there's a very clear kind of like aesthetic, and in the HD graphics of this version, they definitely make that a lot clearer. Oh no. Okay, so you can still take fall damage. I did not fall far enough to get KO'd, which is nice. But that's a thing that they definitely kept from the original. Apparently, they did kind of like, as I'm looking at over at the Super Mario Brothers wiki here, and they said that they did actually lower the amount of fall damage that Mario takes in this game. So I think that's probably the right call. People are always going to complain like, oh, they made this game too easy or something like that. But I think there's a difference between making a game easy and stopping it from being frustrating. That's really kind of the balance you want to hit. Nintendo usually does a pretty good job of finding that balance. Mario Wonder came out fairly recently. That's Super Mario Brothers Wonder is just an absolutely tremendous video game. And I really, really encourage you to check it out if you haven't. And one of the complaints against that game is people are like, oh, it's too easy too early on. It gets so much harder as time goes on. But it's also, like they took time limits out so you could explore the levels. That's great. When you have shifted the Mario expectations away from trying to finish levels as quickly as can to like trying to discover things and move through and move through environments, it's nice to give people some time to actually explore the levels you've built. So anyway, that's not the case here. We are on a timer. And so this is our first minis mission. So I'm leading the mini Marios across. And so the mini Marios basically move according to how Mario himself is moving. So I want them all to move to the right, so we keep holding right. And they're going to follow me over here. Now I got to collect all 3 of the toy letters. So I got T, here comes O. And again, this is a pretty easy one. I just have to get them all to the end of the stage. This is sort of like Lemmings, if you remember Lemmings. So they all get back in the toy box. I collected this. And so this actually became kind of the basis for where this franchise went. This is the last game in this franchise that's like this. All the subsequent games are really more built around the mini Marios. They're really more built around the Lemmings, kind of like you indirect control over characters that are marching in a straight line. And these are not bad games, but if you're a longtime fan of the Donkey Kong puzzle platformers, you don't really, it's not really what you want either. So here's one where Donkey Kong has the switches, and he's going to try to make it harder for me to get up there and throw this garbage can at him. I don't know if when he hits the switch, it makes the garbage can that you're carrying go away that corresponds with that color. It certainly makes the platforms go away. It doesn't seem to affect the actual garbage can, which it probably would make this a lot harder if you could make the thing just disappear out of your hands. Oh, okay. So we're going to kind of just avoid the falling debris, and I think that should... Nope, we're okay. I thought that was going to do it, but I guess it takes more than 3. So again, this is a pretty standard boss encounter for something like this. This is something that was probably going to be harder to do on the Game Boy hardware because you were dealing with black and white. This one at least gives you a little bit more. I almost got hit by a brick there. This one gives you a little more free flexibility because we have a full color palette, we have HD graphics, and so there you go. There's our first fight. And so again, not terribly difficult. One thing I do notice about this, so comparing this to DK94, 2 things are going to jump out at you. Number one, they're using, obviously, the modern design for Donkey Kong, whereas DK94 used sort of a more traditional kind of one from the arcade. Which some people, there are purists who don't like this design for Donkey Kong, but it's been his design for years, and I'm not too worried about that. The sense of humor that DK94 has doesn't really seem to be as present here. You'd have things like in DK94 where when Donkey Kong is trying to get through the door, he gets kind of like he has to go through because he's sort of a bigger guy, so you see his butt, that kind of thing. So it's just like weird kind of like quirky humor, like Mario's animations when he gets hit go from being really kind of cartoony and silly in DK94 to being sort of just like, just a standard kind of idle animation. And so here we have the DK94 and Donkey Kong Jr. thing where you can kind of climb up and down the ropes really easy. But yeah, so I think that is one of the things maybe part of why I don't like this game as much as I like DK94 is that DK94 really felt more like this is a kind of like weird little experiment. This definitely feels feels like a mainline Nintendo product. Something they're not going to take as much of a risk on, and I don't think that's a bad thing per se, right? It is what it is, and by no means this is a bad game. This is a perfectly good game. I just like the quirkiness and humor and design of DK94 better than the kind of more contemporary modern Mario thing. So this is a new level to me, so I'm not 100% sure. Let me see where I have to go here so I can climb up. Okay, no, I guess I don't have to do anything. I got all the... Okay, that's easy. I was overthinking it. All right. So, yeah, we're about 20 minutes in, so we should probably be able to get through most, if not all, this level. So this is the DK jungle, and again, we start to see a little more variety in the environments, which is nice. And something certainly this game needs. But again, here we see like more of the toy enemies, which is cool. I actually really like this aesthetic, and it comes across a lot clearer in this version of the game than it did in the Game Boy Advance game. So again, we're going to kind of use the double rope maneuver because that's so much faster, and boom, there we go. Yeah, so this is a neat game. There are a few other things that's kind of... one thing that is interesting is that when you were playing DK94 and also Mario vs. Donkey Kong, there are several stages that are not, that are multi-screen in nature, right? Some of them are just like, okay, here's one screen. You can see everything you need to see. Other ones, it's like, okay, I don't really know what's up there, anything like that. And we'll see how this stage is going to go because I think I might be able to show you this. So you can actually use the right stick now to kind of move around and get a better sort of view of the play field. And that's one of those little quality of life improvements that I think is really cool. This took a game that was pretty good and I think has made it a lot better, right? As much as I'm kind of like saying I would prefer, kind of the DK94 style for a lot of things, that is not to say this is a bad game or that, they're doing something wrong with this. It's just personal preference, and that was also a nostalgic thing, right? So I when I was a kid, DK94 was the game I played. That was my first Game Boy game. That was obviously a very important one to me. And, there's probably somebody who Mario vs. Donkey Kong was their first Game Boy Advance game, and, they don't want to see anything change from it, and I totally respect that. Again, I think this was a game that really benefits from this remake. I do hope it sells well, because I would love to see them try to take a shot at DK94. I think that would be terrific, because I want to see, some of the... I want to see kind of like a modern take on some of the sensibilities of that game in terms of not only the design, but the style, the humor, that kind of thing would be great. So here we go. We're going to go up and around, and again, you can kind of see how they're adding more and more. So they're teaching you things like, okay, so if I push too far while I'm on a rope, I'm going to fall off, so I got to kind of get higher up here. I'm going to jump. There we go, and I can just kind of go across and avoid the spikes. Nice. Okay, so I got these little rhino guys. I'm going to kind of just go over here, grab that present, go on this platform, grab that one, and there we go. Easy. So yeah, a few of these I played for the first time, or certainly in a long time, and so I'm always just like, oh man, I promise you, I'm not editing anything, right? So I'm not like showing you only the runs where I'm doing well or anything. This is like just straight. I'm turning this on for 20, 30 minutes, and we're gonna see what happens. So I think we might be able to get through most. I'll probably just go ahead and finish this next world. So it'll be like pretty close to 30 minutes. But yeah, this is okay. So here we go. We're gonna have some level. So these are gonna disintegrate. We'll be careful. So I'm gonna look down here. There's nothing down here I need to worry about, but they do give you some rhinos to kind of get back up if you need it. So here's a cool thing, and so you might have seen this in the Donkey Kong 94 video, but there are enemies, these sort of monkey enemies that you have to have tails that you can sort of grab onto, and I did a really bad job of it. As you can see, I'm not editing anything. But the idea here, I believe, is we want to try to grab onto his tail and grab the present. There we go. And so I know, like in Donkey Kong 94, the monkeys that would do that, these were ones where you would literally have to follow them across entire long stretches to get to the end of the level. That was just a quick one. Again, they're trying to introduce the mechanics to you sort of gradually rather than trying to just overload you with a bunch of stuff at once. Okay, so here we go. We're jumping on that. There we go. Now we have platforms. We're going to jump on there. And, okay, so we have birds that will drop eggs on us again. Okay, so here we're going to... Okay, I was going to try to do a pro gamer strat, but I don't think I want to... Okay, so you can jump on stuff. That's good to know. I'm going to take the simple way, but my initial thought was I was going to try to do a handstand jump over those spikes. And in theory, I probably could have done it, but let's be safe rather than sorry and just grab the move. Speed runs of this game be really fun to watch, and shout out to the folks so those of you who've never watched a speed run, Games Done Quick, Awesome Games Done Quick, and Summer Games Done Quick are the two big events, and they also have other stuff year round. These are folks who are called speed runners. The idea of a speed run, if you're not familiar, is you're trying to just finish the game as fast as you possibly can, and many times that means taking advantage of glitches, optimal routes, that kind of thing, just to try to get people will dedicate their lives basically to trying to get their runs of these games perfect and as fast as possible. I'm curious if we'll see some of that with this game. I think that'd be cool. All right, grab that present, and okay, so he's not going to drop an egg on me, thankfully. Oh no! That was almost disaster. Okay, now I have a problem here. I have to get that key down, so let me go reactivate the switches. That's a little better. I think that's not what I need. Is this? Huh. All right, I'm not quite sure I'm going to do this. Let's see. Blue. I think that I can work with that. Let's try that. Maybe not. Okay. I do not know how I'm supposed to get this down here. Okay, so we're going to go over here. Like I said, I'm not editing anything. This is just me figuring this out in real time. That's... Oh, geez. Okay, there we go. All right. And some of you are probably screaming like, this is how you do it. It's like, I don't know. I'm not looking this up. I'm just playing the game. Oh, man. Okay. So there's that. And if I hit that, I mean, that's not great either. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, I think I see what I'm supposed to do here. So if I can hit the... Yep, okay, I got this. I'm going to go... okay, so I got 12 seconds, and I'm going to go boom. And I completely botched that one. Yep, okay. But you see what I'm doing, right? Like, you see what I'm trying to do here. Okay. All right, so that's okay. We're going to throw this back here. And apologize. Oh, no! Okay, my first death of the run. That's all right. Okay, I know what I got to do now, so hopefully I can do this a lot quicker. All right. So I need to turn that on. We're going to grab this present. Okay. And we're going to go back here. I'm going to grab the key, and I'm going to put it in the middle now. Jump on him. And one more. Okay. Now, I have to get over there as quick as I can. Ow! And I do apologize if you're screaming at the screen right now saying, you don't know what you're doing. I know. I promise you, I know. I don't know what I'm doing. I never claimed to. All right, here we go. There, okay, and one more. All right, can I get over there in time? No. There it is, got it. Okay. I have a PhD. That shouldn't have been that hard to figure out. All right, on to the next one. Okay, so again, we see that we're using the colored blocks again are new to this game, and I don't love them as a concept. It's just personal preference. This is not my preferred kind of puzzle for something like that. And yeah, so that was not ideal, and I do apologize. Okay, so we're gonna do high jump. I always like how Mario does the little like gymnast, thing when he sticks the landing. It's cute. They kept that, which is nice. All right, so there we go. Okay, so I got that present, and I'm gonna come over here. I'm gonna try to grab the other one, and then I'm gonna go over to the Mini Mario. The nice thing is, this seems like a fairly intuitive thing to get to. I hope. All right. So I hit that switch, and I'm going to guess I got to hit this one next. Okay, yeah, that should be enough to get me where I need to go. There we go. All right. Hardest level of the game so far, by far. Absolutely. Spiked a little bit on that one, sorry. Okay, 2-4. Yeah, I think... Okay, we're just about at 30 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and just finish out the next couple levels here to show you what it's like. I probably will not get to the boss battle here. We'll skip the bonus level for now, just so we can see the next level here. This is 2-5. And let's see what nightmares await. So there's Donkey Kong. Okay. All right. So fruit and other things in these games are weapons. When you hit them, they fall down again. That's borrowed straight from Donkey Kong Jr., which is a game that I have a weird fondness for. It's like one of those kind of like afterthoughts in the Donkey Kong franchise in a lot of ways. But I think it's certainly a really interesting game, and I always like how both Donkey Kong 94 and this game pay homage to it. So, okay, so we have the blue switch. Yeah, Donkey Kong 94, I believe, to my knowledge, is the first and only video game where Mario is the villain. That just does not happen very often. Okay, so... Oh, okay. Could not quite see where I was going there. You probably could. I have a little... on the monitor I'm watching, I have something in the way, so I should probably... That's okay. Okay. All right, that's what that stick is there for, right? Okay. So we're going to go back up. We're going to grab this gift again. Here he goes. And we're going to come over here, and I'm going to guess I can't jump on him, but he can climb those. So we're going to just... Yeah, these are definitely meant to kind of be like the little jaw guys that would follow around on in Donkey Kong Jr., and Mario would send after you to keep you from climbing the ropes toward him. That's what those are, and they're again made and designed to look like toys, which is cute. It's cute. Like this whole the aesthetic of this game is cute. It is very much a cute game. You know, that's Mario. Like, that is how Mario should be. Mario is, by default, a very adorable franchise. You know, again, would I prefer the DK94 aesthetic? Yes. I absolutely would. But I also, if I'm not mistaken, I believe the Mario vs. Donkey Kong franchise sold substantially better than DK94. At least because they certainly made a lot of sequels to it. I think, and I probably, you know, Nintendo historians are going to yell at me, but I believe, so they had for sure at least one game on the DS. They had for sure a game on the 3DS and the Wii U, and I want to say the Switch. So there's a lot of Mario vs. Donkey Kong games. Just none of them are like this, and I think that's a shame. So I'm hoping that this does well, and they make more games like this, because I think these are fun. These are some of my favorite little sort of Mario spin-offs they've done. You know, and I saw, like, it's kind of funny. I saw people complaining, like, oh, you don't have the Fire Flower. Like, the NPR review of this game was like, oh, you don't have the Fire Flower, you don't have the Invincibility Star. It's like, yeah, it's not that game. This is a different thing. This is Donkey Kong. Like, this is a throwback to before Mario had all that stuff. So, you know, you're not going to have it, and that's okay. So, again, we're going to use the monkey to kind of come over here. I love his little symbols. That's great. That is cute. I'm a big, big fan of that design choice. So we're going to slide down here. Okay, so here's the tricky part. I'm going to have to jump on the... How do I get over there? That's a good question. I know how I have to get over there. Okay, this is going to be ridiculous, but all right. So I've got to go back up here. I'm going to hit this red switch. I'm going to wait for my monkey buddy to go over there. I want him to fall down there. Dodge the fire here, and down I go. So I have to basically wait for him to come over here, and yep, he has little symbols. He's clacking away, and I'm just going to go ahead and grab his tail. There we go, and that's that. Now, here's something where I'm going to find out. Can I throw the little rhino? Okay, I can. Good. So I'm going to use him as a platform, and there you go. All right. so we got this level here, and lots of fire, lots of stuff falling at you. We're going to slide down here. Okay, see, thanks to that, we got that platform, that switch. This is where it's trickier. So I have to hit the red switch or the blue switch again. I'm not sure the best way to go about this. Just duck there. Yeah, I should probably hit that red switch as well. Or hit that one. That works. Ooh. Okay. Can I... No. No, you can't. Okay. Let's try this again. I'm going to climb up here. And this will probably be the last level for this video, because it's already getting... it's already probably wearing pretty thin. There we go. And again, I apologize to those of you who are screaming the solutions to these puzzles at your screen as you watch me struggle here. All right, and let's hit the red switch. And I think that's what I want. So I can slide down here. Okay, so I get the gift. That one, that's done. I'm gonna duck under this fire here, and in order to actually finish this level, get some more switches. And that's gonna be tricky. I can't get back up there, so... Yep, we gotta hit this switch at minimum. That'll at least protect me from that fire. That could have been a disaster, but we made it. All right, yay! Hey, we did it! And we know that wasn't perfect. You don't have to don't patronize me. All right. And yeah, there you go. So that's the first 2 worlds or so of Mario vs. Donkey Kong. The remake for Nintendo Switch is out now. It's a pretty neat game, and probably right now the easiest way to get your hands on a game that is in this nature, in this series. So definitely worth checking out. And thank you for watching this special production of Pocket Pedagogy. We'll see you next time.